Hi there. I have a question for you about your relationship. Does it seem to just continue to struggle and maybe even get worse, even though you've been to counseling and therapy? Does the counseling and therapy actually seem to make it worse? I'm Jodi Carlton and I'm a relationship coach, but I also have a background of about 20 years as a therapist. It may actually be that you're in a neurodiverse relationship. Neurodiversity means that you and your partner have brains that work really differently. You process information differently, language, relationships, social interactions, all of that works differently in the brain. And it's not that therapists are just bad therapists, it's just that therapists are not trained to recognize neurodiverse relationships. I know because I'm a trained therapist. I also know about this because I've been living in my own neurodiverse relationships most of my entire life, and it's been my area of expertise and specialization for over 15 years. So if this sounds like you and if it sounds familiar, then you can actually book a consultation with me and we'll talk about you and your relationship. I'll meet with you and your partner and we'll talk about maybe if this is a piece of the puzzle that fits for you. We can also do a comprehensive relationship evaluation where I assess both of you, not just one of you. We don't look at just if one of you is different from the world, because in your relationship, that's not really what matters. What matters is how you're different from each other. So we'll look for traits of neurodiversity, which means a difference in how the brain interacts and processes all this information. We'll look for that, but we'll also look for sensory differences. How does your brain take in all the information through your senses and process it? Because if your brains are doing that really differently, then you're actually having a different sensory experience. You're perceiving the world differently. And as you can imagine, that can cause a lot of confusion and misunderstanding in your relationship. We'll look at how your brain's actually organizing tasks and activities and planning for your day and your life. Because if your brains are really doing that differently, that can also cause a lot of confusion and misunderstandings, how you remember things, that kind of thing. We'll look at your personality differences. We'll look at all of that and try to get you some clarity on why there's such a huge disconnect in your relationship and why therapy hasn't been working for you. If it's not the answer, then I'll know that too, because I recognize neurodiversity and I also recognize when neurodiversity is not the reason for your disconnect. So if this is something that sounds like it might be a factor for you, visit me online at jodicarlton.com, book a consultation, and we'll see what we can get for you as far as clarity.